day by day, the attacks on women, particularly the working woman, is increasing every day. And it's not happening outside their comfort of their home, or maybe in the outside environment, there is when there is no safety, or when they are walking alone. But now it's happening within their working premises, which is a very dangerous and a very concerned situation, particularly for the India, where this new generation is coming out, particularly the women, and they are entering into different kind of job opportunities, working place, and we are looking forward to moving this nation to a developed nation. At that point of time, when the backbone of this country, that is the woman, they are not safe, we should be worried about this situation. So, uh, let's understand some of the aspects, and let's discuss why these women are facing this kind of critical problems, particularly related to women harassment or any kind of bias at working place, and what could be the possible solutions. We are going to discuss about that. And if you are new to this channel, please stay with me. And if you have any thoughts or any comments, you can ask those questions in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. So, without any further delay, let's get started with today's session. And for today's episode, we have special guest, Radhika, who is going to share her experience, her thoughts on this problem related to women harassment at the workplace. Hi, Radhika. I welcome you to today's episode.
Hello, sir. Hello. And I would just like to introduce myself. My
Yeah.
name is Radhika Suresh Jadhav, and I have been a working professional in healthcare system since last 6.5 years. And I've worked from a field level now into an entirely IT healthcare system. So I would say I had a really nice experience until now working in within my field and my system. I've got really supportive people. Also come from a not from a entirely healthcare professional background, but I'm a master's in microbiology. I'm currently pursuing my MBA in project management, and yes, so. The experience that I would say is that as there are a few bad people in this world, there are good people too, and that's why I think we still have some hope from this society, from Indian society, not just from particular people. I would say not just from particular state, not just from particular city. I would entirely coin the term as Indian society. We still have some hope.
Okay. Thank you, Radhika, for your brief introduction. And I welcome to today's episode. And it's good to know that you have a diverse experience right from the field to the corporate office. And I guess you have worked with multiple types of people and different types of personalities. So, Radhika, can you tell us something about what are the different types of harassment those are happening, or maybe women are experiencing in the workplace?
Okay, so harassment, I think for women, it starts from the day you enter the office with wearing a particular kind of, yes, we have been given by every organization, they have some code of conduct. And by that system, usually women, most of the women, they follow those code of conduct and dressing sense. But the first impression, whenever a person looks at you, even that is also a kind of, I feel, as per my opinion, even that is kind of an harassment, because when you stare at a person, you make that person uncomfortable to move, uncomfortable to talk, uncomfortable to interact with anyone. So I think even the view from which you look at women also matters. Next, there are different kinds of harassment where it starts from commenting on whether it starts from the appearance. For example, I have this friend who has vitiligo. She has vitiligo, and as an obvious thing, she is facing problems in case where she is unable to find a groom. Now everyone knows she has this particular condition, and even after that, why would you keep on asking her when are you going to get married? And in professional setting, it's not expected that you should ask such questions to any particular person. And looking at that, a woman of 34 years old who has vitiligo, you must not approach a person in a certain way. Um, the next type of harassment is where, for example, I have a colleague who is divorced, and whenever she tries to speak out in team bonding meetings or any kind of meeting, if she tries to speak on women empowerment, the comments that from the back end she gets is that okay, she was not able to handle her husband, and why she's speaking right now. So it starts from there, and harassment again happens where um, uh, usually men approach women for a particular thing, and when they are politely, even after rejecting them politely, not hurting them in any way. I don't know. Certain men have this tendency to take the things on their ego, and then they try to target that woman. So, and the last and the foremost thing that I myself have faced is that usually we ask women and ask girls to speak out. Yes, we ask them to speak out. That is a first solution or first step that we expect from women, that you put forward your problems, whatever you are facing. But what do we do after a woman or a girl speaks out? What do we do? Either we doubt them that no, you must have misunderstood the person, you must have misunderstood the circumstances or the conditions. You try to change her thinking, you try to change how she is perceiving, how she is feeling about the situation or about the person. And we certainly cannot deny, we as women have a sixth sense that we could sense things from people, from a particular person, from approaches that we get. And at that moment, I think as women, we lose our trust on our own families, from our own companies, from our own colleagues, that, okay, even after speaking out, it does not work. So even that, I think, contributes to more and more harassment, because even after speaking up, we do not get that much support. So yes, as per my experience, these are the kind of harassments that most of the women have faced.
So, for my listeners, as you can see that the harassment not necessarily has to be of criminal nature every time. There could be some harassments which can be not qualifying for the criminal or any kind of abuse kind of thing, but still they are impacting the woman at the workplace. It could be related to body shaming. It could be just related to some communication things. So it could be related to any relationship things. So this kind of harassment is not just related to any criminal activities. It could be some non-criminal activities as per defined by the law, but on the moral and ethical grounds, those are very not acceptable things. So, Radhika, why do you think? What do you think? Like, why do women do experience this kind of harassment at workplace? Uh, are there any particular situations or any circumstances which are leading to this kind of incidents with the women?
The circumstances I would say is that um, maybe the way we have brought up our society since so many years is that okay, we are giving equal opportunities for getting educated, getting jobs to women, but are we ready for women to step uh, out of their homes? Are we ready to see them in new roles? For example, new roles in the sense that, are you ready to accept a woman manager above you? As a man, are you ready to accept a leadership of a woman? So for example, whenever we see some woman employee or woman manager being going ahead with her leadership positions or leadership um ambitions, there is always a certain kind of group of people, involving women in this. Sometimes there are women who are taking down women as well. Are we really ready for that? Yes, we talk about equality. We talk about, yes, women are getting educated, women are getting all their rights and everything. There are women who are taking disadvantage of this particular rights and benefits that they are getting. But most of the women, are we really ready to accept their leadership? That is where I think it hurts the most. Whenever I think men should not feel intimidated and threatened by any woman. If she's taking forward her ambitions, if she's taking forward her education, her experience, I think that is what makes them um, uh, more vulnerable and more insecure about things. And the second thing is, okay, the mentality is fine. We should be conserving our Indian culture and everything. Fine. We have no problem. I'm the person who supports decent dressing styles and decent gestures. But at some point, modernization is also very important. For example, I have seen a particular kind of people who are very much celebrated people in our religious background, who have termed this particular thing that a girl who has a bob cut or a boy cut is not a girl. A man who does not have a mustache is not a man. I mean, these are just not, and I see people who are commenting below that video stating that he is true. That's very really true. How could you suggest that? How could you expect from a woman, for example, if a woman is working in Indian Army on a really nice position and she's on field, would you expect her to have long hair and to maintain those hair? So what should be the her first priority, her hair or serving for nation? So over here, the mentality is what I think we should change as we bring up our children further. For example, most important, our men, our boys, that we should accept girls in this particular world as an competition, but not as a threat, not as a threat. So I think these are the things that are contributing to most of the attacks and safety issues that women are experiencing.
Yes, I completely agree with you, Radhika, that definitely the customs and the societal norms, they are one of the key determinant factor, particularly for the men, to behave like a man and dominate the woman. Maybe it's in the name of customs, it's in the name of religions, it's in the name of maybe caste system. Uh, so those societal norms or standards, they are definitely driving this typical male behavior. So Radhika, let me have this opportunity to ask you, uh, particularly in the context of this workplace harassment, is it only the men who kind of do this kind of harassment, or do women experience any kind of harassment from the other women employees also? Like as you mentioned, maybe not only just the junior level, but at the leadership level also, they are facing this kind of harassment. So, is this harassment happening only from the side of man to woman, or it is happening from women to women also? What is your take
From
on this?
very honestly, from women to women as well. I myself have experienced such kind of behavior, such kind of harassment from my own women colleague employees. And in the context where certain women have a certain working style where they would take advantages of being a woman card or a victim card, and when they see a person who is not abiding by their own by their working style. At that time, even a woman employee goes against a woman employee, and that makes it more difficult. I have been in a situation where I wanted to report a certain incidents with to my HR and POSH authority, but the other women employees were very reluctant, and they were not in my support. And so I guess I was very young at that time. I was just 22, 23. I was a new hire at that time, and I didn't have any corporate experience. That was my first corporate organization, and I just feel the younger self who was just 22, 23 years old would have known better, would have taken her own stand rather than waiting on other people. Or and at the last, I got to hear as that uh, the person against whom I was going to have this incidents reported is actually in a relationship or um, in the relationship or co-relation with one of the women employees that I was working with. And even after knowing that this particular man or this particular person is doing wrong, he's not of good character. This particular woman was supporting him, and I think yes, I would honestly say yes. There are women employees who are included in harassment of other women employees as well.
Thank you, Radik, for bringing that issue. Yes, all women do need some kind of awareness to handle or tackle this kind of harassment. But particularly the young one, those who are freshers or new into the corporate system, or maybe any kind of job opportunities, they do definitely need more guidance and more awareness. And that's why we have started this topic on this channel. So they, women are definitely facing uh, this issue on day-to-day basis. So, Radhika, can you tell me what is the possible impact of this kind of situation on the women or maybe on their family?
Um, I would suggest is that whenever a woman employee now this these two things, our work and family is correlated. I would never say our work, our professional life and our family life is any way in between, because these two have an interdependency. These two have directly or indirectly effects on each other. So now this particular thing happens is that whenever a woman or a girl comes forward and puts forward her problem that this is what I'm facing at my workplace, and the first thing she might do is approach her parents about it, take their opinion, what she should do and what she should not. The first thing that comes to our Indian parents' mind is that what would happen if my daughter speaks out about this particular situation? Uh, would there be a chance that she would not find a nice groom for her if she starts reporting these things? Would she be perceived in a different way? She fears she fears she would be accused for something she has not done. And even the family, in that cases, they suggest that she should leave her job. So most of the time, this situation I have faced, and in the situation where I literally quit that job. It was a really nice organization, really nice profile, but only because I was not able to give my 100% in that particular environment, which was not supportive for women growth, especially for my growth. At that point, I thought that rather than speaking out, I should give up. And the most particular example that I got during that particular experience was I tried to consult different people in that organization who were my seniors, who were my known managers from since many years. They gave me a suggestion. Yes, you should speak out. But let me give you an example, Radhika. That whenever you report a certain kind of case, what yes, as an organization they have put forward these policies. that harassment against women will not be entertained. There would be strict actions, there would be court cases, there is POSH authority, there is Vishakha authority. But when there is a chance that there is a woman who has reported this particular incident, and there is a high performing male against whom this particular case has been reported, the company would usually try to choose between these two people, which one is more beneficial for the organization if he stays back. And I would suggest to organizations is that um, a high performing or talented person does not mean he or she has a good character. We should prioritize what is morally right and what is morally wrong. Yes, just to tick your checklist on with Vishaka committee, with POSH authority, with online trainings on workplace harassment and getting people certified during their day to day on job is only the checklist that you are taking up. You are not actually on field. You are not supporting women. And this particular thing happens is where family literally suggests a girl to take herself out of that particular job entirely, out of that environment, rather than going into all of this mess of and the chances of you know um, uh, the management backing up the employee who is more performing really nice, or who is really talented and is beneficial for the organization, chances are very more. And in that case, usually the women employees they do not report, or else they would take take a step back, or else I think um, there are n number of types of harassments that are taking place, and why women are not speaking out. Is there only one situation that is happening? No. I think and every woman who is right now, or girl who is listening to this podcast, would agree with me. At least in their lifetime, we ourselves have experienced, and we ourselves have seen n number of more than 100 cases of such harassments taking place, and still women are not speaking up. So this is the impact that potentially we lose opportunities. Potentially we do not participate in certain things. So this is the effect of ultimately of this environment that we have created for women.
Yes, I would also like to share some incident that I have also personally taken guidance and support from my family for my work-related issues, which were impacting me. So I think this pressure is not just about the woman, but men also face this kind of difficult situation. And I also completely agree with the point that you mentioned, that there is this bias in terms of some particular person, particularly who is a high performer, or maybe who is influential with the leadership and the management. Management has been giving them some kind of upper hand or some kind of relaxations. Maybe even there are some uh, properly notified complaints against that individual. Still, the HR or those committees have not taken action. So I have also personally witnessed this multiple of times. So maybe it's a very high time that corporates, particularly the top management, needs to rethink and redesign their what you call policies in order to create a better workplace, not just for the sake of certification of a better working place, but the place which actually accommodates all kind of people, all kind of talents. Uh, and this issue needs to be taken seriously. So this kind of situation, this kind of exposure and experience, definitely it will have impact on women, on their personal health, their emotions, or in some cases it could be impacting their physical health also, and it's definitely impacting their family also. So apart from this, what I also noticed and experienced is that this kind of committees and guidelines, they are not helping much to the victim, and they are created for the sake of compliance to the government regulations. So, Radhika, do you have any thoughts uh, how to prevent it? I mean, how to do things, or how to behave, or what all things can be done in order to prevent this kind of situations or any kind of circumstances even before they are happening. Do you have any thoughts over this?
Um, the thought would be to create such environment that these things would never be entertained. Um, Not just making an awareness or making an awareness, self-awareness to women, but to male employees as well. The implications, what would happen. We should also give some real life experiences, real life incidences, that in what cases, what actions were taken, and what would happen if you commit such and such incidents or such crime or harassment. What actions, what kind of strict actions would be taken. That would, I guess that would help a lot of men and women as well, because I would never say that every time a woman launches this particular Posh complaint or Vishaka complaint, every time a woman is right. I say is that you investigate each and every incident or event that is reported to you. You investigate this particular event, being non-biased, impartially, stand between these two people, judging both of the sides. I'm not saying that we should judge only one particular gender, but I would intend that the investigation must go both ways. But at the end, when a woman, when there are repetitive complaints coming from one particular department or against a particular person, that in that case, these committees must take a stricter action. And this particular thing I have experienced when in couple of situations is that it is not just the committees; it is also the regulatory, uh, the law enforcement authorities in our societies who also perceive women. They ask a woman to take back her complaints, and by making her aware of the implications is that there would be some kind of more harassment that could happen to you and your family. There could be a danger for your family. There could be a badnami of your family that would happen, your badnami, and at the end you won't be able to get married. In society you won't be able to live freely with your self-esteem, with self-respect. People would talk things about you, but doing these are the things which must not be suggested by these committees, by these enforcement authorities. They usually, now this particular incident has taken place in one of the clinical research institutes near Pune, where a girl had reported a very big posh issue to Vishaka committee. And in this particular scenario, what they did is, yes, they put this person out of threw this person out of the organization and everything. All his meetings, and he was counseled on his behavior. And turns out that there were few women before her who had also undergone such situation by this person. He had committed such things with other women as well, but only this particular woman had reported. And at the end, what happened is they threw him out of this particular organization. They didn't give him an experience letter and everything. Now, again, point to consider here is that he was the most talented person in that particular organization. He was thrown out of the office, but this particular woman was encouraged to take back her complaint. And now, recently, I came to a experience I got to hear from one of my colleagues is that Now the organization this particular person is working, this man is working, is again committing such kind of incidences in that particular organization. He's still on free. He's still committing such situations. So I think whenever we hire a person, we should hire a person with a really nice background, not just a background on paper, which is education and experience, but morally we should. I think organizations like TCS, they go ahead with a background verification even to a level where they investigate whether the person has any criminal record. They would go to your native places, inquire about you, uh, inquire about you to your neighbors as well. And I think that is again a really nice thing that has been introduced to background verification. So I think these things would help, and not just focusing on women to report each and everything, but we should encourage our men to have more self control and more acceptance towards our women and our society, Indian society. And I think creating an environment where we can foster openness towards such incidences will help to prevent such situations.
So this reminded me of one of my learnings from the corporate world. So there was one of my colleagues who used to always tell that uh, do not wait for the second chance. I mean, the concept was that if you are facing any kind of problem or any situation, uh, talk about it very first time. Say no at very first incident. You do not tolerate the things. I'm not sure about other instances, but in case of women harassment, I personally believe that they should take it more seriously and maybe report it at very first time because so the typically what happens is that we started thinking that okay maybe it's I am getting it wrong or maybe that person will not do the same thing again or maybe sometimes we tend to think that okay that maybe that was by mistakes or something he has done that he didn't wanted to intend that or maybe he will not repeat the same thing again in the future. So we think in a more kindness nature that okay let it be. आज नहीं तो कल सुधरेगा. Let him give the second chance, third chance, right? So maybe that is one thing which is encouraging uh, some of the men to repeat the, the kind of things they are doing, and maybe that boosts their confidence to do it repeatedly again because they know that okay, I have my own support system. Nobody can touch my position. Nobody can take away my job. So that is something maybe giving them a confidence. I was talking to my one of a doctor friend, and she also told me, like in the same context, that you need to, particularly in the workplace environment, you need to choose your colleague or your friend circle wisely, so that first of all, they understand what you are saying and they will support you in the organization. Because usually in the organization, when you stand for this kind of issue, usually you do not stand because you feel that you will be alone. But when you have a
Okay.
good group of friends who are going to support you till the end, then you will definitely have that confidence to stand against the culprit. So maybe that's why one context is that you choose the your friend circle wisely. And I have also seen some thoughts about taking the self responsibility for self care, maybe learning some martial arts, some karate techniques or judo, or maybe using paper spray. So, do you think this kind of activities or this kind of approach will help women uh, in the corporate sector or in any kind of organization? What do you think?
Um, in cases where I think martial arts is not something every woman would be able to learn it. Even if she learns, she would be able to master that particular art. Uh, I really don't feel so. Even I have taken martial art classes sometime in my life, but about it. But the effective solution would be instant, something which could be used as an instant or a very obvious attack or a defense would work, like pepper spray or the electric shock machines or small knife, Swiss knives would help, really help. But then again, I would come to a point where uh, the theory of evolution says is that the prey and the predator, they are evolving their brains to tackle each other's. One is trying to save his own life, and one is trying to take life from that prey. And each of these particular animals have their brains getting involved day by day, by every offspring that they are having. They are evolving, their brains are evolving, their tactics are evolving. So I would say, as a human society, we do not consider, yes, biologically we are animals, but we when we say humanity, we have a certain, we put ourselves in a different category other than animals. We have emotions, we have feelings. I would say when we are trying to put women, trying to ask women to defend themselves, we are literally creating a prey. We are literally creating a prey. And we do not want our women to be praised. We are human. Whenever I say a human, I do not distinguish a human into a one specific gender. A man and a woman know we are humans first. A woman is as human as man is, and a man is as human as woman is. We do not want to build our women into praise. We want to bring them up, raise them up as a human being. And yes, in cases where a woman needs an instant defense system, in these cases, I think pepper spray and electric shock machines would help. But in cases where there are 10 to 15 attackers, for example, the thing that happened with Nirbhaya, or the thing that happened in Kolkata case, there were many people. And that in that case, I think not just one woman, even a single man won't be able to do anything. We won't be able to do anything. I think we need to change our mindsets as a society, rather than just creating um, de- just defending the system. That okay, when we say we have to defend ourselves, that means we have already accepted this is how our society is going to be, and whether we have to live or die in this particular society. जो जैसा है वैसा चलने दो, हम ऐसे ही, अब ऐसा ही एनवायरनमेंट है तो हम ऐसे ही रहेंगे, हम इसी को टैकल करेंगे. But why don't we go to the root cause first?
So, whenever I discuss on this topic, this usually comes to the discussion and the society also. It is debated much since a long time that men should be morally or ethically should take the responsibility, and the moral education should be given. So I have a slightly different take on this. What I personally believe is that unless and until the person is either very juvenile or maybe is mentally unstable, I think most of the cases he is aware about what he is doing, what crime he is committing, or what actions he is doing. So I do not feel that education is necessary, but I personally believe that that is going to change the mindset of that uh, the, the the particular accused person,
True,
because
true.
he is already knowing that okay, this is what I'm going to do, or he knows that what I'm doing. So uh, just by giving some moral education, I personally believe that he may not be able to change. What do you think? How how this goes?
Yes, I think I do agree with you. But when we start educating men and women together, for example, when we had sex education in our school, I would this was a co-ed school that I was learning in. I was getting educated, but when we got sex education, we had two different sessions for girl and boys. So I would suggest an open conversation starting from menstruation to sex life, sex education, so that that there won't be any stigma, there won't be any more and more curiosity between these two genders, that what is happening with girls, what is happening with boys. No, we do not want to foster this particular attitude. I think we are educating our people, but we are not educating them in a right way, in a way that this particular education and moral ethics would be absorbed by people. uh, for example, okay, we have sex education in our urban backgrounds, or cities, and most of the towns. But what about the government schools and colleges? Most of the crimes that are happening nowadays are coming from people who have most of the times. Now, I'm not idealizing, or I'm not blaming one particular uh, part of the society, but most of the people who are not exposed to a global level of or metro level of lifestyle, these crimes are coming from such people. They are not used to see women out on the streets wearing jeans and what kind of clothes that they are wearing. Now, again, I would come to a point where I would literally say is that sometimes women need to choose their own environments, whether they want to participate in that particular environment or not. For example, okay, you are going for an official party, you are going for an official trip or something, but you need to choose your clothes very wisely. You need to choose how you behave in that particular environment. You need to choose with what kind of people you are getting involved with. If you know it's an formal party, if you know it's an official party, whether or not you want to have alcoholic consumption in that particular party or not, and if you want to, at what level you must get yourself intoxicated, it is your choice. But then, yes, it is your choice, but women should not also forget is that your own choice comes with your own responsibility, because then after that it just leaves everyone else so helpless when you yourself choose to put yourself in certain conditions or situations. And in that sense, I think other people who want to literally save you are not able to save you. They are helpless. So uh, choosing environments by women and educating people that in a way that they would perceive and absorb that particular knowledge and information to use it. I always say is that okay, we are educating our kids these days. India is on, I guess, most of the highest literacy rate, but there is a difference between being educated and being literate. I have seen people who have just passed their fifth standard or sixth standard, but they are very, very, very well educated, and I have seen, but they are very well equipped to use that knowledge in day-to-day life, and they have modified their uh, values of life and principles in a certain way. But I have seen people who are very well educated, but they lack a certain kind of behavior, certain kind of sensibility and responsibility towards our society. So I think this will for sure some supportive environment to our future generations.
So, I see like many women are getting educated and they are entering into the corporate sector. They are joining into government sector, and they are starting their own businesses. So constantly they are increasing their exposure to the outside world. And what I see that most of the incidents are happening either on the roads or maybe outside the comfort of their homes. The incident that happened in Kolkata at the workplace, it's maybe I would say the extreme version of this kind of incident. But just for the sake of discussion, I do not want to restrict the woman to the comfort of their home, but as a safety measure, uh, what would you think if women start choosing a career which has more opportunities for work from home? Do you think this will help the women, or maybe will the women accept this as a alternative or a safer solution for the workplace?
No, I don't think so. Women would be accepting this thing. I think women, Indian women of 20th century are very, very ambitious, very ambitious. The more you try to suppress them, the more they will find ways to empower themselves. And I have seen now, uh, if you could see the numbers right now, I think people are educating their women more rather than boys. Yes, boys are getting equal opportunities or more opportunities, I would say, to educate themselves. But in the case where with the minimum exposure as well, women are using their more and more potential to get them that they want to. More and more women want to be pilots, more and more women want to be in healthcare systems because I think women have that ability of hospitality, of caring towards each other or towards society. Women have that sense of being a caring person or being more gentle and softer. That is in opposition with the male gender. And I think restricting women only for work from home won't work, and they won't accept it because this would be just restricting women into one box and not allowing them. Then I think it won't be an empowered society that I would say in a society where we have a longest history of many women like Jhansi Ki Rani, Tara Rani, um, and many women to talk about. In that sense, I do not think that we should only just because we are having this particular situation, we must ask our women or perceive them uh, for just work from home opportunities. But we should foster an environment which is more safer and healthier for them.
So, as we see that many this posh communities and other communities or guidelines, they are failing to provide justice to the women at workplace. So, as a woman, what are your expectations from the employer or the organization regarding this workplace harassment?
From the organization, I think I have already suggested for organizations is that you do not just use these policies and committees just as a tick box on your checklist to form a compliance report for the governing bodies, but go on field, have particular people now. I think in most of the law enforcement systems we have female counselors. We have masters in MSW, that is MSW people, social workers, who are working on behalf of certain kind of people, the people who have been abused, victims, to counsel them, to ask them what were their problems. Maybe a woman or the person who has been victimized is not able to express themselves fully what has happened with them with all of the people that they want to report to. They are not comfortable in sense. I think organizations need to have a department of social work. They need to have a department of psychology where they could be able to express themselves more efficiently. And I'm very much focused on social workers and psychologists is because these people have a certain experience with such kind of situations, and usually they take their stand, or they do not judge the person who is coming to them with a complaint or a problem. So they have that perspective towards the situation, and then taking things forward with the posh committee and all of the investigations. And leaving behind, I would suggest to the organizations is that you choose your people before your business. Do not just look ahead that which okay, now we have this complaint, which person is more beneficial for the organization, the girl or the boy, or the female or the male, or vice versa. We should look at the situation in a from a not from a business perspective, but from a morally ethical perspective. That's what I would suggest to organizations.
So, thank you for sharing your suggestions. And when it comes to government or the legal system at large, we have also seen that we have many cases like the women's sports team. They faced some kind of harassment, and that issue was discussed at national level. Let's talk about the Nirbhaya case, the Abhaya case, which has repeatedly shown us the deficiencies and the gaps in the legal and the government systems, which are on paper, there are definitely very stringent laws and regulations and provisions for women's safety. But I do not see that is working or those are getting implemented. So, what do you think as a woman? What are your expectations from the government and the legal or maybe the police system? How this whole system can stand in support of the woman? What are your takes?
My take is that honestly, um, swift action is what we expect. Swift action, because already when this has happened last year in September, and there was a person who was harassing my sister, and we went to police station, our local police station, and this particular constable and this particular inspector refused to take our FIR, refused to take any complaint, refused to even listen to us. The harassment had reached to a level that that person was hovering around our house. He was following my sister to our house. So um, it is not just about the rape case. Normally, as well, if you go to police station, they would refuse to take your complaint, even to listen to you. And I have no particular idea why. Why? Why won't you listen to us? Why won't you take actions? Why, if when a person or a girl or any person who goes to a police station, who goes to a court, he's already traumatized with something. He's a human being who is coming to you with his problem. Uh, he expects something from you. He expects at least kind words from you. He expects words of concern from you. He is considering you are also a human being. You would listen to him or her. So all we expect is swift action. Everything that is going on right now, every criminal that we see in these rape cases, they have this mindset that okay, I would pay some amount of money, let this matter settle down in the media, let people troll me, let people harass me on internet. Someday they will stop. I will pay the authorities and I would get away with this. Or else, even if they want to take me to a stricter action, it would take at least 10, 15 years. Till then, I would go out on a bail. If you remember Aruna Shanbag case that had taken place in Mumbai's hospital, the woman is still on bed in coma, and the person who had raped her, it was a ward boy. He has left through that. criminal case and he is living in his house in UP or Bihar and he's living his life very freely. So we expect swift action from the government. We do not expect a time, a waiting time of 10-15 years. We do not expect that.
Yeah, I think that's not just the need for the women harassment, but I think when we are talking about the digitization across the nation, I think it's very high time that the government should take this FIR system to the online level. Maybe they should display the status to the, the concerned person, or maybe they should have this opportunity to file the FIR online by themselves. They should think something, some solution in terms of this. Maybe that is one of the challenge that many people face filing the FIR, and which is the one of the first step.
And most of these policemen, they expect a certain amount of money before they launch an FIR.
Yeah.
I would literally ask government, are we not paying taxes, enough taxes to give them salary? If you want to give them a raise, you give police and court members a raise in their salary. They should not ask us money for doing their job.
So yes, I think there are multiple aspects to talk on this topic, and I think there are many more solutions to this kind of problems. But maybe it's a time limit that restricts the discussion to this episode. So thank you, Radhika, for sharing your experience, sharing your thoughts, and I definitely appreciate that. And for the readers, if you found this podcast useful, please do share with your sisters or your friends, particularly who are just joining the corporate system or they are just joining any kind of job, so that they become aware about the situation that they are going to face and they are prepared for this kind of situation, so that they can prevent it, or at least they can reduce the impact of any kind of harassment. So please do share with them. And if you have any thoughts, any suggestions, any solutions to tackle this problem, please let your thoughts know in the comment section. And that's all for now. This is Dr. Nitin signing out. Bye bye.
Thank you.